Hi friends, welcome back. Today we are going to work on mastering deep, powerful, but still noble sound. Some people call it the Big Russian School sound, since it's often associated with works by such composers like Rachmaninoff or Prokofiev, but in my opinion, this technique is just as useful in other styles too. Also, I think there are a lot of stereotypes and confusion around these so-called national schools, like the Russian piano school, for example, and I actually have a separate video on the topic if you're curious. I know that some of you feel that even 90-second background or theory is a little bit too long, so let's jump right in. And for those of you who want to dive deeper and really understand the art of piano playing, I'll share some more insights and explanations later in this video. But first, let's jump right to it. And before we start, just a short reminder that if you want to rebuild your piano playing technique from scratch, if you're dealing with tension, pain, or hit a plateau, check out my comprehensive course on piano technique efficiency following the link in the description. And right now we are having a promo coupon which you can use for a nice discount on that course. So check out the link in the description. So, the core of a powerful sound. A big powerful sound starts from the understanding where the impulse for it comes from. It's not in the fingers, it's not in the wrist, not in the elbows, not even in the shoulders. It actually comes all the way from your core, from your lower back, from your pelvis, from your center. So let's try a simple exercise to feel it, to unlock that natural grounded energy that runs through your whole body. I know it sounds a little bit like woo-woo, like esoteric stuff, but I promise this is a pure physiology, nothing mystical, okay? So you don't even need a grand piano for this. You can practice it at a sturdy desk. Just make sure that it's very solid and doesn't move easily. For example, if it stands against the wall, that would be perfect. That's why some flimsy IKEA table standing in the middle of the room won't work for this, okay? You need something that can absorb your full body energy. So, the exercise. Place your hands on this desk or a piano lid, keyboard lid, and keep your spine straight but relaxed. This is very important, and I really suggest you to use a mirror or an iPad with a frontal camera to really see that you are sitting straight, because very often I have situation where a student sits like this and I tell them like, okay, sit straight. And they're like, okay, I'm sitting straight. No, you're not. Yes, I do. And the problem is that nowadays people are so used to slouch that they don't even have this like sensation in their head how to sit straight. And for this exercise, to get most out of it, I really suggest you to sit straight. So use a mirror. Make sure that your spine is straight and your head through your neck is aligned with your spine. Also, we are going to use our hands for this, not our fingers at first, but just the hands. So make sure that your hand palms are attached to the surface and that you feel this resistance not in the fingers but in the hands, like this first. That's the first step. So now imagine that you are an unstoppable force pushing against an hopefully immovable object. So the pushing impulse should come from your pelvis. So this is a sensation of you falling forward on the piano. It's like you throw yourself at the piano, you throw the whole body forward. And at the same time, you have a counter impulse. Mostly you might feel this part, these muscles here, but also some other muscles, like even back muscles are involved in this, where you kind of push against that throwing forward impulse. So you throw yourself, but you simultaneously push away. And start gently, maybe just like very gently, just to feel that resistance, feel that freedom in you. That's an essential part. The impulse comes from the pelvis, but you immediately release your back, release your lower back, and you feel how this part actually moves freely, yeah, on the piano bench. And at the same time, you push off and immediately release all the tension, like this. And if you're doing it right, your neck won't tense up and your head will act like a natural counterweight, like, you know, those toys with a wobbly head, sliding head, like that. So we are doing kind of this thing, yeah? You have to feel how your head works as a counterbalance. So then you know that you're doing it right. That's why sitting straight is so crucial, because if you slouch, your neck stiffens up. Your body center, gravity center is actually in front of your body, like this. So everything is tense to hold stability, because the posture is not stable. That's why a posture is so important. Now, as soon as you feel the grasp of it, as soon as you practice enough and you feel that pushing away impulse, like as if you were to like really push the whole grand piano away, like that. Like when you push someone whom you don't like, oh, go away, like that kind of motion, yeah? As soon as you feel that with your hands, let's do this with our fingers. So we place all the fingers. Our task is, of course, to maintain a good hand shape with a good arch. That's why we spend so much time building strength in the fingers and stability in our hand arch, because for this technique especially, you really need stable arch, stable joints, all the joints of your fingers, because then you can withhold the weight of your body. Ideally, you should be able to withhold it with the whole finger. So you can push away using this technique with every finger, including our very weak and miserable fourth finger, like that. But at first, just do it with all 10 fingers, distributing the weight, distributing this impulse between all the fingers, like this. And push away. And if you do it right, again, you will feel stability in the knuckles of your fingers, but flexibility and absence of tension in the wrist. So the wrist serves as a cushioning mechanism, which helps us to provide a very mighty sound, but a noble one, like this. And then the last step would be to apply it to your playing. So once you practice this, get to your piano, find a loud spot in any of your pieces and play it slowly first, but using the same principle. What's crucial here, though, is a stable hand position, as I said, and a strong enough fingers to hold the impulse without collapsing. When this happens, then the wrist also helps a lot. It cushions the energy and refines the tone, so it doesn't sound harsh. Another thing that we use, another aspect that we use actively in order to sound noble, in order not to sound loud, is to voice your chords. So the top of your chord and the bottom, your fifth fingers, are crucial to make it sound nevertheless noble. So the difference between you see, it sounds very harsh and kind of messy because I don't voice the chords. This sounds better because I prioritize those two layers, the top and the bottom. Just like Volodos, Arkady Volodos did in his legendary performance, which I have analyzed in my video, and I broke down his fantastic, incredible, superhuman technique in this video, so check it out. And now for the dedicated learners, here's something most pianists don't talk about, is that even many university-level students don't have this skill, and this is what separates pianists who really project, who really fill the hall, as we say, with sound, from those who only sound well in recordings. And if you ever attend a big competition like a Chopin or Claiborne competition live, not on YouTube, but live, being present in the hall, you might notice that not everyone, even on that top level where you have all the best pianists gathered in one place to compete for those prestigious prizes, but not all of them sound great in a big room. That's why judging competitions based on recordings, based on what you hear through microphones, is misleading often. So why do many players, even advanced players, fail to apply this technique even if they have heard about it? This is because it takes confidence. You can apply this technique only if you have a very deep confidence in your artistic voice, even if you are psychologically grounded and solid. If you are not sure about yourself, if you have a lot of doubts in yourself, if you're not confident, for example, if you were under a lot of toxic pressure and you don't believe in yourself, you're kind of like shy and you're nervous and you don't know how to tame your adrenaline on stage, if you don't have this image of a like great artist who really projects, who really dares project their voice on stage, then you can't really apply this technique because you will tense up. And when we are tense, we block this passage of energy through our body. So where do you use this technique? Now, this might be surprising for some of you, because there are some very evident situations where we might use it, like for example, this Chopin prelude, or especially like Rachmaninoff's. So spots like these, of course, they are evident. And actually, I have just released a course on Rachmaninoff's Second Concerto, and you still have a couple of days to get it at a half price discount. So check it out following the link in the description. But what many people don't realize, and much fewer people know, that actually many other spots can benefit from this technique, like for example this Chopin's Etude. So what happens here is that we are using a pulling impulse or like hanging impulse for the bass accents, where you kind of fall down on those keys. And we are using a pushing impulse from the lower back for those top notes, which are like a reflection of that energy. So then we get this kind of like bell effect, where we reflect from two sides. And we have contrary accents which complement each other because they have a contrary nature. And this is something that, in my experience, is not easy for the vast majority of piano learners. Or, for example, just recently I have performed a Poulenc's two-piano sonata with my wife, and there was this one spot that felt incredibly satisfying to play with this sense of grandeur. That's so satisfying when you can really unleash this energy without any tension, with a sensation that you're barely working, but it sounds so big. It's a very pleasant sensation. I could do it all day. But here's the real secret. Even soft music, soft passages benefit from this core-oriented awareness of if you're really aware where the impulse for the sound comes from and where is the center of your gravity, then it's not just about volume. It's also about richness, clarity, control, and most importantly, free flow of your artistic intention through the music that you are playing. So thank you for watching this, and see you next time.